Hello everyone. I'm Beth, the free range chef. I'm going to be doing some simple pizza making with you now that you can do with your children, or you can put the children in front of the TV and do this on your own. It depends what you want to do. It's really straightforward. It's not like a sourdough jobby that you have to start 4 weeks in advance or anything. Although they are really tasty if you do want to have a go at that. But this is just with a few store cupboard ingredients, and it's really easy. It won't take too much time. So before I start, I'll just introduce myself properly. I live just outside of Bath in Holt. I've been working in kitchens around this area for a long time, and I don't really know. I'm a free range chef. I go wherever I fancy, although at the moment that's not far. My house and my garden and Booker's. And I do lots of lovely supper clubs around the area. It's all sort of vegetarian-y, vegan food. And I do wedding catering, and I chef on yoga retreats, and at the moment I'm doing an online retreat, and yeah, so life is a bit different at the moment for all of us, but we're adapting, and it's really nice to be able to share cooking videos and things. I do quite a lot on my Instagram page, and I'm going to be starting to do a live one every Monday, live at 5, so that everyone can cook along, and you know, because when the lockdown is lifted, we're still probably going to have quite peculiar lives, so we need to remain together on this one, don't we? But anyway, so we've got some dough, which I will share the recipe with you on a separate document, because I waffle a lot and you might not know what the heck I'm talking about. So the dough is really simple. It is flour and some baking powder and salt and water and a little olive oil, and you mix it together into a dough. But because there's not yeast and things like that, you don't have to leave it for ages or knead it for ages. It's kind of quite straightforward. When you do roll it out, don't roll it out too thin, because it might become more like a crisp bread style thing. So make sure you leave it plump enough so that it's got a little bit pillowiness to it. I'm making little mini ones because they're quite fun. But you can make big ones if you like. And I'm using a technique that I've used for a long time. I can't remember who taught it to me. I think it was the Pizza Pilgrims, I think, or someone like that. Of starting it in the frying pan and then finishing it in the oven or the grill. It replicates to a certain extent cooking it in a pizza oven, although if anyone wants to build me a pizza oven, that would be awesome. We already have Wednesday night is pizza night in our house, although we've eaten pizza 2 days running now, so I don't trust anyone that doesn't like pizza. It's not a personal thing, I don't understand. Anyway, so I'm going to pop that in the pan. The pan is really hot. So, I mean, you can get your kiddies to help rolling out maybe. Esme, my little girl, she's 2 and a bit, she likes to help. She makes the dough, she pours the flour into the bowl and into other places and wipes it on everything. But she loves to get involved with that, which is good. She's not quite old enough yet to do some of the more fiddly bits, but she definitely enjoys eating that pizza. She's not too bad at eating, but she's a little bit picky, so making pizza is lush because I know she'll eat it. And also the nice thing about having, you know, like Wednesday night is pizza night, is I wake up in the morning and I think, I know what's for tea. I don't have to get to 5 o'clock and think, oh crap, what is it? I'm not sure. Look through the cupboards, oh, pasta, oh, you know. It's, yes, one of the things about lockdown is that, I mean, I love cooking, but generally my husband's away quite a lot, and I just sort of cook for Esme, and then I cook a meal for myself a day. But in lockdown, you've actually had to make like lots of meals, and I found it really stressful, even, you know, seeing as this is my job. It's just been thinking, oh no, okay, what can I do with this? What can I do with that? And when I've got time or energy, or I'm having a good day, then it's quite easy to go, oh, I'll put that with that and try that and that'll be lush. But when you're not having a good day and you're just a bit like, oh my God, just get a takeaway, it's really hard and there's a lot of pressure. So well done if your family are still alive, essentially, and not too hungry. So with these ones, you can make all sorts of toppings. If you're making them for the children, you might want to keep it simple. I've got a nice tomato sauce, which I've made. It's really good actually if you just want to make a big pot of something like this. It's really good just to make loads of it. You can either freeze a bit of it, but you know, if you've got those last minute, oh gosh, what am I going to make, you know, at least if you've got a big pot of tasty tomato sauce in the fridge, then you don't have to worry about that thing. So it's just chopped tomatoes, some olive oil, salt and pepper. You can put a little bit of sugar in it to sweeten it. Depends what quality tomatoes you've got. If you've got really naff ones, then sometimes you do need to put a little sugar on there, and just taste it and see what it's like. It's also nice, if you fancy, to make a nice tomato sauce. Blitz up a couple of sun-dried tomatoes in with it. Oh, and garlic as well. You want to put garlic in it, full shoe. And then yeah, and then season to taste. Maybe put a little bit less pepper in it if you've got kiddies that don't like strong flavours. Esme doesn't seem to mind. I think she sort of just takes whatever I've given her, really, which is good. So big pot of tomato sauce, always to hand. It's really useful. And then obviously cheese. I've sort of mixed in here mild cheddar, which hardly tastes like anything, but mixed it with a little bit of pecorino, because it's a nice strong flavour. You don't have to make it cheesy. I'll do another one that isn't cheesy. So I'll just take this one off. So if you do this on gas, then it's going to bubble up a little bit more, but I'm just got my electric cooker next to me here, because this space in my kitchen is like the tidiest, and if I moved over there you'd be able to see all the washing up and detritus. So I'll just put that one on there. Got a little tray which I'll wang that one on. So yeah, so another thing that is really good for having on pizzas and having loads of in your fridge is pesto. I've made a pesto here from loads of stuff I found in my garden. Edible stuff, obviously, not like some weird toy or a shoe. This is primrose leaves, and believe me, these things are all edible. Primrose leaves, dandelion leaves, some wild garlic, which I've got a little bit left of, and sticky willy. Do you know what I mean? Sticky willy? It's cleavers or goosegrass. So all of these things are edible. The cleavers, sticky willies, goosegrass, it kind of tastes like green. It's packed. All of these things have got amazing vitamins, and all of the groovy stuff in them. So if nothing else, just get some leaves out the garden, check that they're edible. There's a really good website for foraging tips, eatweeds.co.uk, a chap called Robin. It's a brilliant website. It's really easy to use, and might get you into just some very basic sort of foraging. Essentially what I've got in my garden pesto, I like to call it. Dandelions, they're essentially a superfood. I used to think they were a pain until I realised you could eat them, and now dandelions I make honey with the flowers, and leaves you can whiz up in pestos, and use like you would spinach, so you can chop it up and wilt it and mix it in with pasta or salads or whatever. There's a wonderful Roman dish called chicoria, which is essentially kind of made out of dandelions, where you cook them until they're soft and you squeeze out all the liquid, and then you, in a frying pan, use oil or butter to sort of saute them. Bit of lemon juice, salt and pepper, a bit of chili's nice, and they have that on the side dish, and it's a love or hate thing. I'm not a huge fan, but if you put like a dash of honey or something in it, it takes the bitterness off, and I eat it just because it reminds me of being in Rome, and I miss Rome, miss Italy. So these ones are finished. I will just burn my fingers to show you. So they've sort of puffed up a little bit. Like I say, if you do it on gas, or if you use a dough that you've let prove kind of thing, then they will puff up a little bit more. Yeah, it's nice to use sourdough. I use sourdough quite often. So I'm going to top these with the aforementioned tomato, pesto, a bit of cheese, and then I've got a rather snazzy grown-up one, which is a vegan one without the cheese. Just clear the space. So we've got our 2 pizzas. Obviously, the recipe that I've given you will make more than this, because this would probably just fill me up. So let's do just the regular one, and again, this is something, you know, nice doing with the children to get them involved. I think that they probably are more likely to eat what you give them if they've had a hand in making it. I've found with my nieces and nephews and things as well. I always get Esme to choose her egg out of the trays that we get from New McDonald's Farm, who are just incredible eggs. Never been disappointed. They're lush. They're just based outside of Bath. I'm sure you will have heard of them, Matt and Lou. And they're happy lot of chickens. So I've got tomato sauce on one of them, and I will sprinkle some cheese on it. Now it depends how adventurous your children are, or how adventurous you are, on what else you put on it. Mushrooms are nice. You know, it depends what they'll eat. Sweet corn. I quite like a bit of cheeky pineapple sometimes. I know it's wrong, but so good. So I'll just put a couple of little bits of courgette on this one. So that might not be too offensive for children. And then on the other one, I'm going to put some of this Green Goddess pesto on the bottom. So this is also good if you're not a massive fan of tomatoes on pizza. So I've got that on the bottom. Now here is some lemon. I've sliced it super thin and sort of blanched it style in boiling water for a couple of minutes and then drained it. So I'm just going to put a couple of slices of lemon on it. Then I've got some broccoli that I've cut fine. Again, if you've got mushrooms or courgettes or anything like that, then that's nice to use as well. Oh, and where should I put them? Getting real grown up now. Fennel seeds. If you're not a fan of fennel seeds, because they are quite a strong flavour, you don't have to put them on. You can put other seeds on. You can just experiment. Go wild. Some coriander seeds would be nice. And excuse me, some chopped up pecans for the top. Right, now those will only take a few minutes at the top of the oven, so I'm going to wang them in now. Into the oven. There you go. Right, yes, so they're in now. If they're larger, then they might take a little bit longer to cook, but the small ones probably won't take too long. Just long enough for me to just say thank you to Soph and Libby for inviting me to be part of your lockdown festival, Kids of Bath lockdown festival. I hope everyone is okay. It's a funny old time. We don't know whether we're coming or going. We've kind of, well, I don't know about you, but you sort of move from the mourning phase and the sadness into a different phase of just sort of having to get used to everything. And then now, as much as it's nice to think that things might change and slightly go back, I feel quite unsettled about that because I don't know what that really means. So there's going to be a lot of people that need continued help, and the repercussions are just going to go on for years and years. So it's very important that all of our charities have a helping hand at this time, just because, you know, we don't want people to think, oh well, you know, the lockdown's being eased and so things will be going back to normal, because they won't. But that's not a bad thing, you know. We've learnt a few things. I've learnt how to make sourdough, and what more stuff is edible in my garden. So yeah, we do need to keep on helping our local charities, and a couple of which you can do through this link is the Forever Friends Appeal, which is the one, the RUH charity, and the local one, the Baines, what is it called? Baines 3SG, which has set up a compassionate community hub to help people who are being affected. And everyone's being affected for varying degrees, but you know, if you're on your own, or you don't, you know, you're caring for someone, you don't have someone to talk to about it, there's just, you know, you can't second guess all the different situations that people are in. I'm lucky, I feel lucky, you know, apart from not being able to work in the way that I love, I can still do a few little things, and I've got my family, and I'm, you know, blessed. So I feel like I can, you know, lend a hand to other people who might not be so fortunate, and also do something fun, like, you know, Libby and Sophie have got together a load of people to do this, and it's awesome. And I hope that my little pizza video, I'm going to check on them, will be of use to you. Bear with me. Intermittent music's playing in the background, so they need a couple more minutes in there, but they will be beautiful in but a moment. So yes, make sure that you can tune in to my live thing that I'm going to be doing on Instagram. What am I on Instagram? Oh, I'm on the phone. Beth, the free range chef, that's who I am. And you can follow me on there, and it's lots of videos of me cooking and cakes and general musings, recipes and ramblings, I like to call it, from my happy place, which is in the kitchen. But yes, I hope you can enjoy that, and let's see back in a second what is happening with those pizzas by the power of some sort of doodle-doo. As if by magic, they're finished! Yay! We can eat them. So yes, they look beautiful. They look simple yet effective, don't they? Really nice. They're sort of a little bit floppy, but and they're really tasty. And I think you could eat probably about 8 of them, do you reckon? Yeah, I reckon. So yeah, give it a go, and enjoy them, and I hope you enjoy the whole day, and there's links for the charities on the website. I'm sure by this point in the day you probably will know exactly where everything is, so I won't bang on about it. But yes, I hope you enjoy this with your families, and that you're staying sane. I'm just about sane, and I've enjoyed sharing this with you. So yes, hopefully I'll see you over on Instagram or on Facebook as following me on my live cooking. All right then, take care everybody and have fun. Bye.